I am back with another video. I want to talk about autism again, of course. Specifically, how autism and behavior relates to the Black experience. You may say, why does this matter? Autism is just autism, but it actually does matter. How you were raised and how you view behavior, how you were taught to view what's appropriate behavior, what's inappropriate, what's good or bad. All those are going to come into a play and influence how you might discipline someone with autism, how you might understand it or relate to it, which means it's going to affect how you interact with someone with autism. Autism is a neurological and social disorder, so it can affect what a person is able to accomplish when it comes to developmental milestones. For example, let's say it's time for an autistic child to be potty trained. When you go to the doctor, there's a checklist of milestones that you could meet off, that you could check off developmentally to see if your child is on track for meeting certain milestones at the appropriate age. Now, if you are dealing with a person with autism, this may affect them meeting those milestones. Now, this does not apply to every autistic person because it looks different for everyone. But it can happen, and it's very common. So let's say you are having that problem, and the way you were raised, the way you were brought up, you discipline with a spanking or a whipping. That's something that's very common in our culture as a means for discipline. So you may see a child's inability to be potty trained at a developmental age as a sign of stubbornness, laziness, disobedience. And the way we counter those things have to be looked at and handled differently if you are dealing with a person with autism. If your child has a vision problem and they need corrective lenses to see, you wouldn't whip them or spank them because they weren't able to see something on the board clearly, right? You would find out the source of the problem and move them closer to the classroom or enlarge the font. You wouldn't attack the lack of ability to do something. You get what I'm saying? So I see it the same way with the child with autism. If you're potty training them and they're just not getting it, maybe it's a speech delay. Maybe they don't have the tools to say potty. I have to go potty. It could also be a sensory issue. That feeling we get that lets you know it's time to go now, that could be off for an autistic child. And when they go, it's too late. Or it could be an adversive experience, which I've seen that happen. I worked in ABA before, and I've seen a child hold their bowels for days at a time because the sensation and the experience of going to the bathroom, something that simple, was so adversive that they would just hold it in. We have to look at these things because discipline isn't a one size fit all type thing. And I think something that is common in our community, we're such a resilient people, and we have become so accustomed to overcoming that it's almost like it's just the expectation that you should just be able to do it. And I think some things that some people don't understand is like the science behind it, that just because a child can scroll through and find YouTube videos that they like at 2 years old, that doesn't mean they have the same skill set and function that they need to be able to be potty trained, right? Because I've heard things like that being said about a child with autism who maybe can't tie their shoes or haven't been potty trained, but they're really good at video games, or they know all the lyrics to a song, or they can script a YouTube video. We use different parts of our brain to accomplish different things, and having a deficit in executive function is very common for people with autism. That allows for time management, your cognitive skills. There's a list of things that come into play that just can make it more difficult. And I'm saying that because we have to learn that. Whether you're an educator, a grandmom, an auntie, learning what autism looks like and how it affects someone's behavior matters. So that way we can make proper accommodations and meet them where they need to be and not where we think they should be according to someone else's standards. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments if you have an autistic child, how you maybe went about potty training. Maybe you had to use a PEC or a picture board with the toilet on it because your child didn't have the skills to say toilet. Whatever they may have looked like for you, please share it in the comments and just let me know what you think and how you feel so we can keep the dialogue going.